Hello, in this video we are going to take the principles of working with contacts and roles a step further. In the last video we discovered that the email address from both the role contacts and main contact can be used for electronic distribution of documents. But what if we want to add the contact name, telephone number or email address onto the stationery layout itself? In this example we have a sales invoice which is currently displaying the main contact name for the customer account, but it is not considering the role contacts at all, so the wrong contact might be being displayed. We are going to look at how to get the form to honour the same hierarchy as the electronic distribution. By this I mean that it will look for a specific role first. Should the specific role not be created on that customer account, it will then look for a role that has been assigned the general contact role. And finally, should there be no general contact, the system will go to the main tab and pick up the details from the main contact there. This will ensure that the correct information is displayed on your stationery, improve communication and hopefully speed up payment. As we can have multiple roles on either a customer or supplier record, we add the role details to the form using a formula. As you can see on this slide, the formula consists of 4 parts. The formula name, load role, a field calling the customer or supplier account code, a field stating the role that's to be called, so for example send underscore invoice, which would call the invoice role, or send underscore statement, which would call the statement. And then finally the field that is to be called itself, so that could be the contact name, email address or telephone number. You can also see that I have listed all of the roles you might need to include in your formula. The underscore is important and must be used. I will also add them to my blog so that you can cut and paste them into your formula. My blog address will be in the description below this video. So now let's have a look at some examples of the formula. In the first example, you'll see the formula name, load role, then the field calling the customer or supplier account, so that's where it says ACACC. That's followed by the role itself, so in our example send underscore invoice, and then the database field that's to be used. So DBF CONAME is the contact name, so that will pull through the contact name Jane Morris because she has been assigned to the role send invoice on our account AB Applications. The next example pulls through the telephone number, so it uses the database field CO phone, and the third example pulls through the email address, so that uses database field DBF CO email. I'll add a number of these to my blog so that you can simply cut and paste them onto your form layout. But if you'd like to be able to add them yourself or understand even how to cut and paste them into the forms designer, I'm going to go through that process next. So to do that we need to open Exchequer, and then once we're within Exchequer we need to open the forms designer. To do that we go to Utilities and then Form Designer. Once the Forms Designer is opened, you'll need to locate your stationery layout. Mine's already opened because I already had the Form Designer preloaded, but to find your stationery layout, just go to File and Open, and all of your stationery layouts will be listed there, and you just need to pull through the correct one. Once you've selected it, it will appear here within the Forms Designer itself. On my layout, I've already got the field ACCONT, which is the contact name field, on the main tab. As I said, I don't want that field. I want the system to honour our hierarchy, specific role, general role, main contact. So I'm going to delete that field. To do that, I click on this field, so it's highlighted in red, and then press delete on the keyboard. I now have space to add my formula that will honour the hierarchy. To add my formula, I go to Add Formula at the top of the screen, which opens my formula option window. I can then go to the Commands tab, scroll to the very bottom of the Commands tab, and here you'll see in Miscellaneous Functions the formula or the function load role. If you double click on there, then that function will appear in my formula window ready for me to finish building it. So the cursor is already positioned ready for me to start And the first thing I need to type in is ACACC, which instructs the system to look for the customer or account code. Then I'm going to use my arrow keys to move to the right hand side of the comma, and then I need to type in the role description. So for my example, that will be send underscore invoice, because I'm working with the invoice role. And then I'm going to move to the right hand side of the square brackets, again by using my arrow keys. And then I need to put a space in between the square brackets and the database field for this to work. To add the database field, I click on the database field button. I make sure that I'm in the account tab, and I've scrolled down a little way until I get to the CO fields, and I need the CO name. So that's my CO name, which will pull through my contact name. So I've got that highlighted, and I can click on select, and it's pulled that field through. And now if I go to the left hand side of my formula, what I need to do is change the result type from being a number to being a string, because this formula is going to pull through text, not values. So once I'm at the very beginning of my formula, I can put in my speech marks, and as you can see, that's changed the result type to character string. Then I can click on OK. Let's pop my formula over here. So I'm just going to click and drag it onto my stationery layout, put it into the correct position, and then I'm going to stretch that field to make it a little bit larger in case the contact name's a little bit bigger. So that's my first field on my stationery layout. I can then add my second field, which will be my email address. So to do that, I'm going to click on Add Formula. Again, I'm going to go to the Commands tab, scroll to the bottom of my commands in the Miscellaneous Functions section, select LOADROLE, type in ACACC for the account name, use the arrow key to move to the other side of the comma, type in your role description, send underscore invoice, use my arrow key to move to the right hand side of the square bracket. Remember to put in your space, that's very important, otherwise the formula won't work. Go to the database field, option, make sure you're in the account tab, and then the next field that we need is CO email, which is contact email address. Once that's highlighted, click on select, and then remember your result type is currently set to number. You need to go to the left hand side of your formula and enter your speech marks to change that result type to character string. Click on OK. Move the field onto your stationery layout so it's where you'd like it to appear. Resize it. There we go. And then save the layout. Just going to minimize the Forms Designer and just show you those fields appear on the stationery layout itself. So I'm going to select my customer AB applications. You can see on the main tab I've got a contact Mr. Thomas, and I've got his email address. But if I go to the roles contacts, I've got a contact in here called Jane Morris and her email address, and then she's been assigned to the role send invoice. So this is the role that should pull through onto my invoice. And then we have a further person, Simon Ward, with his email address, and he's been assigned to the role general contact. So he should receive all of the other documentation. If I go to the Ledger tab and just pick an invoice and then go to Output, you can see that it's Jane Morris that's been selected for the email. And now if I go to the printer to preview the invoice layout, so if I go to Screen, make sure the correct layout's selected and click on OK, you can see that it's her contact name and her email address that's now appearing on my form, so that the information is going to go to the right person and it's flagged for the right person. I hope you found the video useful. For more information about working with contacts and roles within Exchequer and just more Exchequer information, please feel free to visit my blog. Details are at the bottom of the video. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you.